The Shining of Nungphou in the 21st Century. Chiripar Part 1 is a peaceful hamlet that is situated on the banks of the Chiri River in Lakhipur subdivision of Cachar district of Assam in northeastern India. There are three communities that inhabit this hamlet: the Meiteis, the Manipuri Muslims, better known as the Pangals, and the Bengali Muslims. Since long past, this hamlet is used to be known as Nungphou Village or just Nungphou. The river that flows along the hamlet is called the Nungphou River. Although there are no written documents or records about the origin of its nomenclature, it is believed that the name has been rather handed down by the ancestors of the hamlet through generations by words of mouth. There is a myth regarding the nomenclature, origin, and creation of the lush green valley wherein the hamlet stretches far and wide. According to this myth, once upon a time there was a vast fathomless mass of waters there. As floods recurrently occurred, silts got accumulated underneath the waters, forming sediments. And in course of time, the crust of the sediments surfaced out of the waters and steadily became a habitable place as time passed by. As the hamlet emerged from underneath the waters, the place was called Nungphou, literally meaning sediments emerged out of waters. Nungphou is situated at a distance of 7 kilometers in the west from Lakhipur Bazaar and around 20 kilometers from Silchar. It is just half a kilometer away to the west of the village of Palarbund, which lies on National Highway 37. The hamlet occupies a space of around 2 kilometers in length. The Nungphou River borders the eastern and northern side of the hamlet. In the west of the hamlet lies the long Oxbow Lake. On its south flows the mighty Barak River. From oral narrations of the ancestors of the hamlet, we come to know how and when the Meiteis came to settle in this place. In the annals of Manipur history, it has been recorded that during the Chahitaret Khuntakpa or 7 years devastation of Manipur of 1819 to 1825, and even before that, Meiteis and Pangals came to dwell sporadically in this area, calling the place Tolenkhul. It is one of the earliest settlements amongst the various settlements of the Meiteis. In this hamlet, both the Meiteis and the Pangals dwell adjacent to each other. Settling in the hamlet, the Meiteis thought of developing other neighboring areas later. Finally, it is said that they came to the west of Tolenkhul, near the banks of the Nungphou River, and began clearing the area of its woods and forests. It has been also narrated that they leveled the ground in that area in order to make it suitable for cultivation. There is a traditional tale that has been and will be retold several times, and which people over times will find it hard to believe. It is about a tree that grew near the shrine of the mother goddess or Lairembi Ima in Manipuri. It is said that the people were accustomed to climbing the tree and looking at the vast grassland on the northern direction to see whether the herons and storks settled over there to predate food. In case you notice a large number of herons around there, it is ample proof that there are plenty of fish in the water, and the area surrounding it is fertile enough for bountiful cultivation and agriculture. In such a manner, the Meiteis began to clear the bushes on the northern banks and start settling down over the vast land of that region. From those days onwards, the Meiteis have come to realize the presence of the Lairembi Ima in that area, although there is not enough evidence to prove this, from oral history prevalent among the country folk, we can assume that people came to know about this fact from almost around 1820 onwards. Later on, some Meiteis left Tolenkhul and, selecting convenient spaces, began to settle sparsely near the banks of the Nungphou River. The region where the Meiteis settled came to be known as Nungphou Laikai, which actually is one of the Laikais or parts of Tolenkhul. It is worthy to be noted that the two villages extended assistance to each other in the time of one's death by way of providing rice and money to the bereaved family. It is evident from this that the two villages have maintained a close bond since early times till date. In the similar manner, the Manipuri Muslims or Pangals from different places also came to this region in search of arable land and then, finding the place congenial for cultivation, began to settle there steadily. They are said to have come from the other side of the Nungphou River, especially from the villages of Manipur Tarapur and other neighboring ones such as Baga, Srigang, etc. They used to call this area as Kewa Mapal or Anuwa Mapal. A noteworthy fact is that these new settlers who were concerned with developing their own homes and grounds did not pay khazna or tax to the government till the year of 1894. This is because till 1894 their land was known to all as Hatkata. However, in 1895, after the declaration of a government order, settlement operation took place. According to this order, the two villages of Tolenkhul and Nungphou became separate revenue villages. Nungphou came to be known as Chiripar Part 1 and Tolenkhul Chiripar Part 2 in the government records. An office of the rural sub-register of Lakhipur was formed accordingly. In 1906, when a Laitongjam Atol Singha purchased a piece of land from Atomba Mia, the record was registered in this particular office. At that time, the register officer, Satimohan Das, signed the documents of selling and buying of land in the government records. It is said that the long sinuous Nungphou River flowed into the Barak River at a place called Shambam or grassland. From this place, the people of this hamlet used to ferry by boat and take a short route to reach the town or to other villages. This particular road is a part of Tongjai Maril or narrow pedestrian road. It is said that after crossing the river by boat, there used to be a Kabui hamlet too. In 1874, when Maharaja Chandrakirti of Manipur came to Kasar Zilla for the sake of meeting the Viceroy and Governor General of British India, Lord Lansdowne, he traversed through the places of Jiri, Fulertol and Lakhipur and finally reached Tolenkhul and Nungphou. Elders of the hamlet said that the Maharaja and his entourage ferried across the river by boat on his way to the town. Till today, this meeting is remembered as the Zila Darbar and the route taken as the Tongjai Maril or narrow pedestrian route. The Zila is now known as Silchar. Life is ever changing. It is full of twists and turns. Just as the strong current of the Barak River in its course drifted away and eroded the river basin, the confluence of the Nungphou River with the Barak River also got reversed and diverted. When the confluence got diverted, a short length of the meandering Nungphou River got pinched off and isolated, forming a small water body of still water. This water body came to be known as Anua or Oxbow Lake. Out of the many tiny islands that exist amidst the blocked river flows of the world, Mother Nature also spared no pain in the creation of an exquisite tiny island in the midst of the Oxbow Lake near the Nungphou hamlet. As the Tongji Maril near Chandrapur village became narrower due to the erosion caused by the Barak River, the British government constructed a new road near it, which is being used even today. From the annals of our departed ancestors, we come to know that the road was built at a time when the British annexed the kingdom of Manipur. This road that the British constructed became the first road diversion from the Tongji Maril. At one time, it was a vital road for the British. It may be noted that in 1989, due to devastating floods, the Tongji Maril of Tolenkhul and Nungphou got eroded and Nungphou hamlet became stranded again. During the floods, with the fear that the hamlet might get submerged, the villagers took their herds of cattle and livestock towards the grassland or Shambam. The villagers spent many a frightful night with their cattle on the road, which was above flooded waters. The appalling currents of the Barak River, with its gushing flood waters, filled the villagers with anxiety. They were worried for their lives as to where could they get shelter if the level of the water rose even more. At that moment of utter emotional crisis, it is said that the villagers prayed to Ladembi Ima for mercy and succor. Surprisingly, in the dead of the night, when silence prevailed, when survival was doubtful, signs of the waters receding could be noticed from the blades of grass and plants, and a sudden rush of elation revived them. After the floods, owing to unavailability of connecting roads, the people of the hamlet had to suffer a lot, and the place remained underdeveloped for a long period of time. One day, all of a sudden, Senior BDO A. H. Chaudhry, ACS, and Extension Officer Atol Singha came to the hamlet and had a meeting with the local people. The senior BDO informed the gathering that out of the schemes taken up by the Block Level Coordination Committee, that is BLCC, the most important one was for the hamlet. It is mentioned that the allotted scheme was for the damaged road between Tolenkhul and Nungphou. A sum of Rs 52,000 was sanctioned from the JRY fund for the construction of road cum bund scheme. Since the approval of the scheme had already been provided, the authorities informed that work could be started with immediate effect. One day, the people pondered over the matter of rebuilding the road. The major concern was about the longevity of the road, it being near the banks of the Barak River. So, they decided to make an appeal for the construction of the road on a different location. In a very short time, as per the suggestion of the senior video, the Youth Association of that area submitted a written appeal for the diversion of the road per decision. However, the crux of the matter was whether or not the landowners of Tolenkhul would be willing in parting with their share of land for the road diversion. Because of a lack of consensus between the government department and the youth association, the order of work for the road diversion was shelved. Nevertheless, after some months, one fine day, rather unexpectedly, Sri Dinesh Prasad Gwala, who was the former MLA of Lakhipur constituency as well as the chairman of the BLCC, came to the block office and in the chamber of the senior BDO arranged an emergent meeting with the representatives of the Youth Association. The representatives of the Youth Association informed the MLA about the significance of the road diversion. The MLA decided to pay a visit to the site. He further informed that he would take his final decision at the location itself. In the afternoon of 28 December 1990, both the MLA and the senior video came to the site of road diversion and along with the people of Tolengkhul and Nungphou thought over the whole issue, considering the fervent appeal made from the people's side. Eventually, although the estimated amount of money was not sufficient enough for the road construction, yet, considering for the future and security, the decision for the said road diversion with renewed ardor feeling on a scheduled date was resolved. Accordingly, on the 1st of January 1991, the senior video laid the foundation stone for the construction of the said road diversion.
1989, 90, 1991 dagi JRY scheme dagi block level coordination committee na 52,000 khak sanction tawidna 1991 gi January gi tang amada mafam asida yamna kutlami adubo mafam asida Dinesh Prasad Golana senior video da haidna nimida sibu jatra hulan kibni nimida sida jatra hun kiba ahlan sing dugi maming da khara pallabada Tolengkhul dagi ipan Laikhidraba ngangongi ipan binado ipan nilasing Nungphou romdagi khogi laitonjamgi khogi pokpiramba laitonjam birchandra laikhidraba aduga Islampur dagi Nijamuddin Israkhali makhoi khara ahalaman mayam toraga Tolengkhul amasung Nungphou gi miyam pullaga numida sida January gi date 1 da mafam machibu jatra hunbire.
Now the vital issue was that though the work of road construction had begun, the landowners could not come to a mutual understanding for the proper completion of the same. For that purpose, the elderly dwellers of the hamlet, comprising the Meiteis, Pangals and Bengali Muslims, more frequently than not, went to meet and request the landowners of Tolengkhul. Whenever they went to the landowners, the village elders fervently used to pray to Lairembi Ima, who is the protector of the hamlet, to help them in the successful accomplishment of their mission so that the hamlet might be able to shine luminously forever. Besides, they used to pray in earnest that the Mother Goddess be solicitous enough to kindly lead these landowners who showed disapproval to their plea to the path of truth and righteousness by enlightening their ignorant minds. The Mother Goddess was pleased with them. Soon, the landowners came forward and wholeheartedly handed over to these village elders of Nungphou as much land as required for constructing the road. After lots of struggle and pain, the road finally took shape with shortage of funds, yet with a happy note. It may be mentioned here that on 29th February 1992, when MLA Sri Dinesh Prasad Gwala became the Cabinet Minister of Assam, he spared his valuable time and came to meet the residents of Nungphou. He came along with Sagapam Gaur Singh, one of the subdivision's eminent persons. In a meeting that was held then, members of the Naharol Association as well as the reception committee placed their respective memoranda before the minister, citing various development works and programs of the area as prayers for steps to be taken up. Since India's independence, elections are held democratically. In 2002, in the election of East Lakhipur Zilla Parishad, Noorjahan Begum came out successful. In her first allocation as people's representative, she included a scheme of Islampur to National Highway 53 UBI Palarbund for the sake of the hamlet. She did this of her own accord as she was much concerned about the poor road conditions and the problems the people of the area had been facing in regard to conveyance. The proposed scheme of the road is not about reconstructing of the previous road. Instead, it was about the construction of a totally new road with earth filling across the paddy fields. Again, the issue of whether the landowners would part with their land for the proposed road became a principal worry. If they wouldn't, the road scheme would be cancelled. The Meiteis and the Pangals of the area frequently appealed to the landowners who resided around the proposed road. Without any discrimination on the basis of religion, caste, or community, maintaining their own cultural and traditional customs, the villagers prayed to the deities. Moreover, during the month of Ramzan, according to Islamic religion, sweetmeats were distributed amongst them. Finally, with a strong feeling of unity amongst all the communities, on 16 February 2003, the foundation stone was laid according to the religious customs and rituals of both the communities.
Anaba kaya hospital yo phangde khudak ta dum masai langi gari ma pura koi lambi leite na koi lambi in thagat kare na koi NOC pirak patai yangon anyhow maha koi na thawai haksang am to ina chiendana nasi hojai de phau chala ka maha koi na NOC purak tanya pu pibire aina le lupa sanction dobi.
On 30th April 2003, after the completion of earth filling for the road, in accordance with the norms, the PHE Minister D.P. Gwala inaugurated the road for public use.
যে গ্রামীণ এলাকার ভাইরা নিজের জমি এই রাস্তার জন্য দান করেছে তাদেরকে আমি আন্তরিক অভিনন্দন জানাই। আমার আন্তরিক অভিনন্দন জানাই এই এলাকার যুব সমাজকে, এই এলাকার নেতৃস্থানীয় ব্যক্তিদের, যিনিদের আন্তরিকতায় এই রাস্তা করানো সম্ভব হয়েছে। আপনাদের এই ব্রিজের ব্যাপারে আমি চুপ করে থাকি নাই। আমাকে দুটি ব্রিজের দেওয়া হয়েছিল পূর্ত বিভাগ থেকে নাবার্ড স্কিমের মাধ্যমে, এক একটি ব্রিজ 6 কোটি টাকা করে, এবং আমি দুটি ব্রিজ দিয়েছিলাম শিবপুর লক্ষ্মীপুর রোডে রাজারগ্রামে একটি এবং এখানে চিরিপাড়ে একটি।
When monsoons came, people used to ferry across the Nungphou River by boats, where a portion of the land still remained disjointed between Nungphou and Palarpund. During the dry season, people and two-wheelers crossed the river on temporarily built bamboo bridge. The river ferry came to the notice of the government and taxes had been imposed for it since 2004. In the beginning of January 2005, as notified by Sri D.P. Gwala, Minister of Assam, from the end of Tolenkhul to Palarban National Highway 53, the length of the road was measured and applied for construction. It is worth mentioning that during the tenure of former MLA of Lakhipur, Sri Mera Chauba Singha, the road from behind Lakhipur Hospital to the end of Tolenkhul had been already under PWD. The said road at Nungphou was also taken under PWD in 2005 and the work of widening the same began soon. In 2003, as per the promise of Honorable Minister Sri D.P. Gwala for an RCC bridge over Chiri River, and with the sanctioning of money from NABARD, the structure for bridge construction began at Palarban in 2010. Using the latest technology, the bridge was completed within a few years, which joined the previous road as a link road. Today, there is every prospect that the road may, in course of time, become a major district road. It is noteworthy that the memorandum submitted to the Cabinet Minister of Assam, Sri D.P. Gwala, on 29 February 1992, when he came to this hamlet and met the villagers, can be said fulfilled today. Most importantly, it is the development of the old Silchar Manipur road, completing the road come Bund at Chiripar Part 1 as link road. At the time of the annual festival of the Lairembi Ima, who has kept a constant vigilance for the welfare of the hamlet, the Maibis predicted the desire of the Lairembi Ima to get a shrine built for her and suggested that a committee be constituted to successfully accomplish the work. Such a herald, which was never heard of by the previous generations, is regarded as a blessing and boon to all the villagers. So, all the villagers joined hands together and wholeheartedly agreed to embark upon the great task of constructing the shrine. They prayed that they be blessed by the Mother Goddess while performing the task, with wisdom and good judgment, without any hassles and obstacles, and also with a mind to know whatever is unknown and untaught. Instantly, the people formed a management committee for the construction of the shrine on 2nd December 2012. Before the beginning of the construction work, the naming of the deity was also predicted thus: I am Ireima. If you construct a shrine in my name, it will be a grand success. However, the most unfortunate issue was to name the committee after the Lairembi Ima as Ireima, which means water goddess, as the people differed in their opinions. While the construction of the shrine was going on, more often than not, many a sign appeared foretelling of the incarnation of the Lairembi Ima. Moreover, many a divine or supernatural being was also seen, as it were to safeguard the masons and carpenters working on the temple site. During the time of construction of the temple, Lairembi Ima prophesied many an inspirational advice to the villagers as to how to overcome hardships and financial crunches. In the month of March 2017, in a gathering of the whole hamlet, the committee organized with a prayer ceremony to Ireima goddess and the 7 goddess sisters by offering flowers and fruits for the successful completion of the shrine construction. At long last, the people came to a consensus of naming the mother goddess as Ireima Lairembi, and eventually the committee got its name changed as Ireima Lairembi Temple Management Committee. After the completion of the construction, one day, in a divine vision, Ireima Lairembi expressed her desire regarding the color of the inner walls of the shrine. Besides, the Maibis prophesied that the decorations on the dome of the shrine be of Manipuri culture and be golden in color. Man's craving for aesthetic is boundless. Nevertheless, the financial issues stand in its way as the most crucial matter. It is worthwhile to be remembered that while the construction of the shrine was going on, in the midst of troubles and inconveniences we were facing, divine interventions in the form of visions guided me all through, out of which was these words of exhortation. Why do you worry? You will struggle a bit in the beginning, but by the end, there will be no shortage of funds. The rich and powerful from the East will help you with financial contributions. All these foretellings made me confident enough that the work would surely be completed without any doubt. One day, all of a sudden, getting an appointment with the Chief Minister of Manipur, N. Biren Singh, I went to meet him on 30th March 2018. He contributed a sum of Rs 50,000 for the cause of the shrine. The 18th of April 2018 was set as the date for inaugurating the shrine by the committee following the desire hinted by Irema Lairambi Ima in a vision. Surprisingly, on the 16th April 2018, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh and Deputy Speaker K. Robindra Singh informed that they would come and participate in the inauguration ceremony of the shrine. On the morning of 18th April, with due religious rituals, the inaugural function of the shrine was held. The presence of the Honorable Deputy Speaker K. Robindra Singh and the local MLA Sri Rajdip Gwala made the inaugural function a complete success. As for the Honorable MLA Sri Rajdip Gwala, he had already donated an amount of Rs 3 lakhs from his MLA fund for the construction of a community hall in 2015.
এই মন্দিরে অনেকেরই কন্ট্রিবিউশন আছে, কিন্তু আমি বিশেষ করে একজনের নাম না বলে আমি পারছি না, মেইনলি যে রাজকিশোর সিং। উনি যেভাবে এই মন্দিরকে এখানে গড়ে তোলার জন্য যেভাবে অগ্রসর হয়েছেন, এটা কিন্তু আমাদের সবাইকে মানতে হবে এবং উনাকে আমি বিশেষ ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। উনি স্বপ্ন দেখেছেন এবং উনি কাজ করেছেন এবং উনার সঙ্গে আপনারা সবাই সহযোগিতা করেছেন বলে আজকে এই মন্দিরটা এখানে সুন্দরভাবে নির্মাণ হয়েছে।
The Deputy Speaker K. Robindra Singh also contributed a sum of Rs 50,000 for later developmental works of the shrine.
अयगी तरफ तकी सीएम ऑनरेबल सीएम की तरफ तकी अयगी पाबुंग की तरफ तकी मंदिर सिबु साबदा चंग मैम चंग करे दोबो अंगम बल पालिस नियम थे गिरा थंजंग गैप से सी हारंग मतंग से टेन से थैंक यू।
Nungphou, the exquisite hamlet, nestles down peacefully amidst the lush green vegetation of Mother Nature. Amongst the bountiful flora of the region, the red silk cotton trees, commonly known as the Terapambi in Manipuri, are the prettiest. In the month of April, that is the February-March month, the bright red blossoms of the red silk cotton trees bring a radiance to the hamlet, enlivening the hearts of all. Amidst the red blossoms, several varieties of birds perch and feed on the trees with gay abandon. The chirpings of the birds not only echo in the whole region but also cheer up the emotions of the people. The Nungphou River has existed from time immemorial. It has changed its course after creating an oxbow lake as its reminiscence. In its deep waters can be seen various kinds of aquatic vegetation such as the water hyacinths or kabokang, water chestnuts or haycock, and water thymes or charang. Amongst these water plants predate and play several varieties of migratory birds from far-off places after alighting upon the water. Who could ever avoid watching such charming sights of the sylvan hamlet Nungphou? Again, amongst the species of fish available in the oxbow lake of Nungphou, special mention has to be made of the one which reigns and extraordinarily shines, making the region famous in Assam and filling the coffers of the government. That is the chapila fish, commonly known as lupa manbinga in Manipuri. As days go by, the radiant presence of the shrine of Irema Lairambi Ima by the side of the lake makes the passing visitors in that area know more and more about the goddess and the hamlet. Today, in all respects of the hamlet, be it for road connectivity, bridge, health facility, Irema shrine construction, or Minister D.P. Gwala's benevolent assistance, we can proudly say that Nungphou is also one among the many developing villages of this region. Therefore, it would not be an exaggeration to say that the hamlet is, by the grace of Irema Lairembe, no more the same as in the olden days. Rather, it has put on a new look of brightness that distinguishes itself. Today, Nungphou is shining with all her glamour and grandeur. She has fully emerged out of the darkness of ignorance, and people all over come to know about her and her charming beauty. This is all due to the mercy of Irema Lairembe Ima. Men are by nature hypocrites. They pretend that they can discern the future. They are predominantly jealous, hypercritical, and discriminatory. More often than not, they pretend to be righteous to delude others and misguide them. All these were the obstacles that stood in our way, but we could easily overcome them and make the hamlet shining by the blessings and benedictions of Irema Lairembe Ima. So, we do embrace her in our heart of hearts and worship her by paying our heartfelt obeisance and sincerest gratitude. We offer benedictions to her in a common choir, singing Glory to Irema Ima. Indeed, glory be yours, Irema Ima, forever.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ những video hấp dẫn.